anti-war for the most part, and then turn around and literally have the face of war on your broadcast and like suck them off.
The Joe Rogan experience.
Even though we just got through a fucking horrible year, that year
I have no problem with TRT, by the way. I plan on using it inevitably.
Exposed a lot of weird shit about our civilization.
Yeah.
It
again.
exposed a lot of weird shit about a bunch of really freaked out people that are just paranoid and schizophrenic, and how many people that are just fragile. There's so many fragile people in our culture.
I was blown away by the politics of it. I'm a politician, so this is what I analyze. And I was blown away that the conversation about how to deal with the last year became, the division fell upon partisan lines, right? About whether to lock down or not to lock down, about whether people liked masks or didn't like masks. And at first that seems really odd. And so I spent a lot of time analyzing this because it shouldn't be that way. It should be mixed. You would think about just because what you're really talking about is somebody's risk assessment and how they perceive risk and how they want to deal with that and how they think everybody else should deal with that. And it's strange. I think there's a lot of factors involved. I do think that there was some political opportunism. I think that if Trump says something, people reactively say the opposite.
That's a problem, right?
And then that's definitely part of it. However, after Trump lost the election, that didn't stop. That movement for pro-lockdown movement never stopped. So it was not clear to me then that was the only reason.
But it is. See, the problem is once people get committed to an ideology or committed to a narrative, just because Trump lost and now Biden's in power, it's not like everybody just abandons this narrative and creates a new reality based on objective truth.
But they'll never even do an after action report on it to the point to where it's ridiculous.
I thought you were showing us some.
And so I put a few factors in there. I think some of it is the fact that Democrats tend to congregate in urban areas, and it might be the virus is more in your face in an urban area than in a rural area. That might be some explanation there
for sure, right?
But it really boils down to, and there's studies on this where our brains light up differently when assessing risk. Now, it doesn't mean that the behavioral outcomes of these studies are changed.
Dude, might as well talk about nuclear physics after this, dude. I mean, quantum computing, he's talking a whole lot about shit that he doesn't know about. Might as well go balls to the fucking wall, brother. Just do it. Yeah. Speaking of lighting up brains, here's a brain who's never been lit. Motherfucking Dan Crenshaw. Jesus Christ.
Basically, they would take liberals and conservatives and they would give them what amounts to a betting game, and see how they react differently. Now the actual behavioral outcomes, what they choose, didn't change all that much. But when they're doing the MRI scans, they see that their brains light up differently. So that's interesting. So we clearly assess risk differently somehow. So I looked at data on the kind of jobs that we choose, and it turns out, and this is intuitive, you would guess this, that the vast majority of dangerous jobs are mostly populated by conservatives. Lumberjacking.
What? Holy shit, dude. I had no idea that vending machine delivery drivers were fucking vastly conservative, like landscapers and... Huh, interesting.
Hard labor. Military, law enforcement. So
I mean, if you're going to talk about most dangerous jobs, going into law enforcement, you've already lost the argument. Number 17 on the list. What are we talking about? You skipped like 16 other jobs before you got there. Okay. Also, immigrants working in the fucking chicken factory, getting their fingers cut off. Hardline conservatives, those guys. Wait, what's up? I'm working.
It's obvious that we're choosing to engage in risk differently, just overall, in the aggregate. Yeah. And so I think that gets at why we think differently about this. I think we're truly wired differently. And add on top of that, the natural disposition of a liberal to believe in some sort of collective action, whereas the natural disposition of a conservative is to believe that government can only do so much. right? There's life out there, and sometimes it's dangerous, and it's up to you as an individual to generally assess that. And that's also the most efficient way to do things in order to get the best outcomes in the aggregate. So these are two dispositions that are always present, and they manifest in policy outcomes all the time. And in this case, it's pretty obvious how they manifested into the way we dealt with coronavirus. And I think that,
dude, I'm sorry that, like, there are actual studies conducted on what he's talking about, like the way your brain lights up and blah blah blah. But like every single time this shit happens, every single time there is some sort of study like this conducted, is almost always misconstrued and misappropriated by whatever group it is. Liberals do this as well, and so do conservatives, like Dan Crenshaw is doing right here. We're just like to make yourself feel sexy, okay? That's all you're doing. I'm just built differently, bro. I'm a conservative. My brain is like super fucking cool. And, being conservative, my brain lights up in a very powerful and very courageous way. It's just what it is, like there's numerous studies conducted on this. Like it just, conservatism makes your brain super cool and brave. Okay. That's just what it is. And that's why we, take dangerous, idiotic fucking points of view, like COVID is not real, despite the fact that 500,000 people have died. That sort of thing. It's just a conservative thing, bro.
Kind of explains it because, and think about it this way too. When a more left-leaning public health official talks about it, they always give you the worst case scenario. Well, it's possible that if you're 15, you could die. Well, yeah, it's possible, but it's also far more unlikely than even if you got the flu. They say they leave out that part. They leave out the context. They leave out the problem.
Yeah, dude. Conservatives, my brain lights up differently, which allows me to see the truth behind the lies that science tells. Like, thanks, bro. Thanks, dude. Yeah, roll the fucking dice, dude. Can't believe this guy went to Harvard, by the way, and he's like espousing biological determinism with regards to your ideological predisposition, and also the likelihood that you'll make dumbass decisions. As a consequence of your predetermined, haplogroup or genealogy
abilities. This is why I've been so frustrated with our public health officials.
Yeah.
Give us the whole truth.
Right.
Don't just give us the most dangerous truth. Don't tell us the tail end of the probability scale. Like that's not useful information to us.
What?
It's been very frustrating to watch how we've dealt with this.
What?
Around the world, not just in America. Frankly, we've had it better than a lot of
epidemiologists. Let Dan Crenshaw describe to you what really matters. Okay, statistics doesn't matter. Personal anecdotes, fuck yeah, bro. That's what we need. Yeah, the whole truth is actually what I see, and I can't see everything from my point of view, but it doesn't matter.
Countries.
I think people tend to try to find a group that they can attach themselves to. And Chris Rock has a great bit about this. You know what? You can find Mick Maynard, who is one of the matchmakers for the UFC, posted this on his Instagram. Go to...
Where are we going with this argument, dude? Joe is steering this into just incredible waters at the moment. Incredible fucking waters. He's like, yeah, okay, you're right. Epidemiologists, like, when they're doing risk assessment, they're being really stupid. You're right. Hey, Jamie, pull that Chris Rock bit up. Let's listen to that instead.
Got it? Yeah, okay. So Mick Maynard posted this from the great and powerful Chris Rock. And this is, we can watch this because it's on his Instagram. And if Chris will holler at me if it's an issue. But I fucking love Chris Rock. And this is one of the best points. It might not be one of his best bits, but it's one of his best points ever because it's so accurate because he's talking about...
Man, we all got a gang mentality. Republicans are fucking idiots, and Democrats are fucking idiots, and conservatives are idiots, and liberals are idiots, and anyone that makes up their mind before they hit an issue is a fucking fool, okay? Everybody. No. Everybody's so busy wanting to be down with a gang. I'm a conservative. I'm liberal. I'm conservative. It's bullshit. Be a fucking person. Listen. Let it swirl around your head. Then form your opinion. No normal, decent person is one thing, okay? I got some shit I'm conservative about. I got some shit I'm liberal about.
Yeah, like I'm conservative when it comes to denying the empirical evidence that 500,000 plus people died as a consequence of getting COVID in a pandemic that disrupted mostly the Western world. I'm a liberal when it comes to, I guess, other stuff, but I'm a conservative there. Like when it comes to the truth, I'm deciding to be a conservative. Sorry,
Crime,
it's just my genetic predisposition.
I'm conservative. Prostitution, I'm liberal.
It goes on, but that's where the clip ends. But that's so accurate, is that what a lot of people are afraid of is being alone. They're afraid of being attacked. And one of the things about today's culture, particularly with social media, is that it's an attack culture. It's a bully culture. And a lot of these people that are doing the attacking and they're doing the bullying, they've been bullied in the real world. So they want payback. So they're trying to bully people online. Yeah. And that's what you see. There's a lot of like low status males, a lot of like really weak people who have never really overcome physical adversity, or they're not successful, but they found a way online to gather up a group.
Yeah, dude. When I'm thinking of all the fucking sexy hunks in Hollywood, I'm thinking of fucking bullied beta males, dude. I mean, seriously. Look, every fucking political ideology has followers that represent a wide array of body types and personalities. It is so fucking idiotic to just be like, you're a beta male. Talking about Chad Omegalol, like, the fuck? Have you ever seen a fucking groiper in real life, dude? What, you think they're fucking sexy mountain men? No, they're all fucking basement dwellers who have literally never seen the sunlight, okay? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah, dude, I mean, seriously. Conservatives. Yeah, when I think of, when I think of conservatives, I think of sexy men, dude. I think of all the sexy fucking guys that are, incredible and just beacons of racial purity. I mean, that's what I think of. Hold on a second. Let me just show you some. Yeah, like I said. Guys, conservatives just look good, okay? It's hard to describe it. It's just like they are not fucking beta males, okay? They are literally alpha males in every way, dude. In every fucking way. They are literally alpha males. They're so strong. They're so fucking sexy. Like, they're just, I don't know. I don't know how else to show you the truth. I mean, seriously. Hold on. I mean, behold. I need you to behold I just need you to understand. I mean, dude, they are literally like the alpha of the alpha. Just incredibly fucking alpha, dude. Holy shit. I mean, just think about it, dude. Just think about it for a second. I mean, who else comes to mind when you think about how fucking sexy conservatives
Comedian
are?
Jimmy Kimmel and
Yep, I didn't give you a trigger warning for that because I wanted it to hit, okay? I wanted this to hit you right in the fucking face. Yeah, no trigger warning for Ted Cruz on this day. Yeah, Monka TOS all the way, baby. The successful fucking alpha males.
Group of people that resonate with some of their opinions and they can attack people. And they do it all day long. I
find that to be the most
it's fascinating.
The most probable. If somebody's saying something extremely crude and awful to me online, it's probably a younger man.
It doesn't necessarily.
Unhappy.
Sometimes it's older men who have failed their life.
Yeah, when I think of conservatives, I think like, again, men that have actually built confidence within themselves. And I don't think of like dudes who literally fucking shit their pants at the thought of like a sexy brown person potentially competing with them in the dating marketplace, if you want to think about it in conservative terms. Like, that's what I think of. Motherfucker, conservatives are afraid of their own goddamn shadows because it's too dark for them. and you're over here talking like conservatives are so fucking brave, dude. They're so sexy, so brave, so successful, so hot.
Life. And they've decided that this is their stand.
Yeah, it's the guys, you don't understand. It takes an alpha brain to get genuinely upset about, Mr. Potato Head's cock, or it takes a real fucking alpha brain to legitimately get mad that the Dr. Seuss Foundation decided to shelve like 3 of the fucking books out of like their massive, extensive library of books that they sell on a regular basis. That's the real alpha brain shit that you're focused on when you're a goddamn conservative man, baby.
This is their line in the sand they're going to draw. Whether now they're going to be anti-racist, or they're going to be, anti-homophobic or anti-transphobic or whatever it is, and they're going to attack all these people. Whether or anti, there's so many different ideological pathways that you could choose, that you could get a group of people that agree with you, and then you fight against anyone that opposes these ideas, and you do it in a really aggressive and nasty way, which is something that we should push back against, period. Like, ideas should be something that you should be able to discuss and debate and analyze. You should be able to sit down and go, why do you believe in the simulation theory? And we shouldn't be like, well, you're a
motherfucker. No one ever says, why do you believe in the simulation theory? No one will get mad at that. It's when people say, why do you believe that black people shouldn't be murdered by cops? I think that they should be because they're violent. Let's debate. That's when people get mad. And the reason why you don't use that as an example and instead use, why do people not want to talk about fucking string theory or infinite universes or simulation theory, is because the real thing that conservatives want to debate on, as though it's like a legitimate intellectual argument, is the humanity of certain marginalized communities. But if you were to be honest and fucking bring that up, then you would look like a buffoon for defending that point of view. Just saying, Joe Rogan, you being kind of a dick right now.
Fucking idiot, Joe Rogan. That's why you agree. It should be like, yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah. But that's not why I agree with this. That's not why I look at this. I look at this because I'm curious, and I see all the various components. I think there's a lot of truth on both sides. But the problem is when you ignore the truth on a side that doesn't fit with your ideology, then you're not interested in truth. You're interested in what Chris Rock is talking about. You're interested in supporting your gang.
So yeah, and that's your gang or team. I always say that you're either one.
By the way, I say this as someone who's like highly critical of Radlib shit. Like when people get over the top mad, like when people were trying to fucking be like, I can't believe Tropic Thunder was made. It's like still unacceptable. Blah, 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 blah. Like, that shit is fucking whack. Okay, and I tell people to shut the fuck up on supposedly the left all the time. Okay, but there is a difference. Okay? There's a difference. There's a well-intentioned people going too far and advocating for things that are ridiculous, maybe even doing it from a point of aggression, versus the entirety of the conservative ideology that revolves around conservation, not in a good way, not in a positive way like conservation of the nature, but in a negative way, like going back to traditional roots and traditional values such as white supremacy, that we've so desperately tried to fucking push back against, or I don't know, women staying in the fucking kitchen, like women not having any fucking autonomy over their own bodies, racism, that sort of thing. I know Amazon votes are coming in and the union is losing at the moment. I don't know what you want me to do. You so desperately want attention from Joe Rogan. All you do is hate watch his videos in hopes of baiting a reaction from him. That's why you hate watch him all the time. You just want attention from him. To get clout and relevance. No, I used to be a gigantic fan of Joe Rogan before you probably even knew Joe Rogan existed, and I think that he has very interesting guests on, and they have really dumb fucking conversations that millions and millions of people watch and listen to, which is precisely why I also watch and listen to it. I think the real problem here is that you're upset that someone who you perceive to be your intellectual daddy is being criticized, and it's something that you feel like is personally attacking you. And that's why you are lashing out in this way. Joe Rogan kind of fell off, to be honest. Yeah, this Spotify deal really.
In a blue jersey or a
Really
red
ruined
jersey,
it.
and then you act accordingly, and,
Yeah.
and you repeat these sort of mantras that you think you're supposed to repeat in order to gain favor within that group, make sure they know you're part of the loyalists
Yep.
there. And if you don't say the things, then that group gets distrustful of you. But this is a problem we have on the right? So I think the left is power hungry. I think the right is paranoid, and we tend to look for betrayers in our midst, right? We look.
Wait a
for
minute, who's paranoid and who's power hungry? Which
the
one?
right? The right is more paranoid.
Can you switch it back and forth though? Left is paranoid sometimes too.
Look, everybody's on a spectrum, right? I should say that in the beginning, right? I'm analyzing in the aggregate the coronavirus, why people fell on partisan lines on that. But I mean, look, I recognize that not all liberals are risk averse to this extraordinary degree. I recognize that we're all on a spectrum, and from the left to the right. But in the aggregate, this is sort of what we see. And then in politics, as you're talking about, we put on these jerseys. And so I'm just talking in generalities.
Right, okay.
Of course, the left can be ultra paranoid. And of course, the right in its extreme form can exhibit more power hungry tendencies. But it tends not to be. And if we look at the policies actually being implemented, that tends not to be the case. But what I
Yeah, when like right wingers are deciding that the police need more funding so they can buy like MRAPs in a town of 500 people and then use that on like, poor people. That's actually the right advocating for less control. They're not power hungry. Or when the reactionary media apparatus and conservative politicians in general choose to bomb certain nations and stuff. That's not power hungry. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. That's just like, it's just crazy. Like when conservatives in Arkansas decided, aside from the governor, that, doctors and patients can consent to a certain medical procedure after rigorous psychoanalysis, but the Arkansas GOP members do not consent to it, so therefore they can't have that happen. That's minimal government. That's not being power hungry for the sake of literally appeasing like 12 fucking people that are fearful of trans people existing. When you control women's bodies, when you don't allow unions to exist in the workplace, these aren't like power hungry moves that conservatives engage in on a daily basis, changing, being upset about the outcome of an election and then literally changing voting restrictions, adding more limitations to your voting so that it's harder for poor people to go out and vote. I mean, that's not the government being power hungry. It's entirely different.
I see on my side, because I'm always dealing with my side, we tend to be looking, instead of thinking how to persuade. This is the problem I have, and I'm trying to change. Not that I have, I mean that I think we have.
Your dad literally didn't want a union to happen in his workplace? My dad is a gigantic neoliberal. He is probably very anti-union. You are correct. Except I don't agree with him, but I think you mean my uncle, in which case I disagree with him as well, and I was very critical of him at the time, so thank you for coming to my broadcast.
We talk about fighting all the time, and I say, look, we have to define fighting as persuasion. Persuasion is the name of the game in politics. Look, I can go charge a hill as a SEAL, and that's fighting, right? I mean, and it looks cool, but I'm going to die, okay? What I really should do is communicate, maneuver, and kill the enemy that way. In politics, the fight must be persuasion. And too often, we get more concerned with, saying the things, saying the slogans, saying the things that make us feel good, that make us...
Dude, this is really bad. This is like remarkably
help
bad
us recognize
because it's not even like aesthetically pleasing. And that's when you truly lose as a conservative, okay? The reality is, like, as a conservative, okay? As a conservative, you can get away with saying a lot of dumb shit as long as it's entertaining. Once you are no longer entertaining, you're fucked.
one another as part of the same team, wearing the same jersey. I think that's what he's getting at. And if somebody veers from that, well, they're a traitor. They're not one of you. And then they're automatically wrong. And instead of saying, I knew you were going to say that, let me tell you why it's wrong. Let me explain it to you. Let's have a debate about it. We get really mad and we go online and we call names because we haven't actually done the background work to at least understand why we think what we think. And when you understand why you think what you think, that's how you can persuade people.
Catch new episodes.
Man deserves every mean thing you've ever said about her. Okay. Since Crenshaw wants stuff to agree with Dems.
Here's the other thing, because I also, I'm in a lot of meetings on foreign policy.
For years and generations, wars have been fought over oil. In a short matter of time, they will be fought over water. It's fucking true, and it's scary as fuck.